the most important skills that they need to learn is that they need to learn how to think and how to frame a problem, and to have an action plan to solve a problem in collaboration with others. I mean, the soft skill is the things that they need to learn. And I believe that the education system need to teach them and make them ready to tackle complex global problem that when they grow up, they will face with those problems. And the other things was that as we all of us grow up, we put some boundaries around our ideas and we criticize our ideas. So I had to aim with this challenge. The first one was that how might we change the techniques or approach that we use in design thinking or design sprint, so our kids are be able to learn those skills and techniques, and they use these process or techniques for their everyday challenges that they are facing in school or in their daily life. So when they grow up, they are master those skills. The other things was that I thought if they be able to use and be involved in design thinking or problem solving or design sprint, because they usually see the problems with different perspective than us. We might be able to involve them, and we might be able to come up with more novel and unique solution. But I'm eager to hear other people's perspective and opinion about this topic.
Okay. Thank you for that, Fatima. Let's actually dive right into the exercise that is right to the right of the explanation you just gave. So after hearing Fatima explain what the origins of her thoughts were around where she wanted to go with this in terms of involving design thinking, involving different ways of being creative, kind of setting the foundation for innovation. Currently with what you're experiencing in your locale, with your experience, what do you think is working or aligned with that currently, whether it's in education or different programs that are out there? Something that seems to, that when you heard Fatima describe it, you thought of a couple of things where it's like, oh, I know someone to do this, so I know a school is doing that. And you want to put that in this area that says things that are working. And the way to do it is basically in Mural, you just double click on the card itself to put in something that comes to mind. This is more or less an exercise just to get used to using Mural. We will be using the answers you give here to compare and contrast in the next section, but for now, just take 2 minutes to kind of do a little bit of a brain dump and think of things that align with what Fatima just talked about, with how schools use design thinking, or perhaps they use a process to really get kids to think creatively about a problem. And there are no right or wrong answers with this, so you can feel free to put anything you like in those. So this is just basically an exploratory exercise. Now, for those that are having issues with connections or Mural kind of refreshing where you can't...
Nicolas, il s'appelle encore comment l'application qu'on utilisait en Norvège là, pour faire les jeux vidéo?
I agree.
En Norvège, vous aviez une application. Ah, t'es là doucement, je demandais Olivier.
For those of you who are having issues with your connection for the upcoming exercises after this, what you'll want to do is private message me in chat your particular things you want to put on the cards, and I can go ahead and do that. And the way to do that within Zoom is that there should be a control bar somewhere in your interface. All you have to do is look for the chat icon. It could be probably in the 3 dots where it says more, and it's the very first one there. You just click chat, and then I'll have the chat window open. You just have to send me a private message, which you just say that you down the 2, and then you basically drop down to the name. And that should probably do it. We have about 15 seconds left in this exercise. And Sandy, just a quick thing I just noticed is the top half of the sailboat. We still have some sailboat like wording in there that we could take out later. Nothing, no big deal, just a thought. If you're still on a digital card, go ahead and finish up your thought and click anywhere outside of the digital card to deselect it so that you're no longer have, the card doesn't have an active writer on it. Okay, so after looking at all the things that are working in this section, we're going to move to the right and go to things that involve some problems or things that aren't working, some obstacles. Something that contrasts with the things that were put in the previous exercise, things that in your own experience are counterproductive or counterintuitive to design thinking or even like creative processes for kids. Go ahead and type those out. Again, use the cards as you see them. Try to work from the top to the bottom since we will be using these to sort out later. Again, we'll give you about 2 minutes for this one as well. If you need more time, just go ahead and tell me at the 30-second mark or around there over the you can unmute your microphone and tell me, or you can just say it in chat and then we'll be good.
Robert, what were you saying that we can remove?
If you look at the first exercise, Sandy, and the directions, it just basically says that the moderator now selects one person at a time to quickly explain their individual sticky notes as they stick them in the top half of the sailboat.
Hmm?
But we have a tethered. So that's all.
Okay.
Unless we turn out the horses are sailboats.
That means like that's telling me like nobody actually reads the instructions.
Got it. And Suzanne, when you want to send me a message, you have to select my drop down. So instead of everyone, you want to select my name. My name should be in the list there. And then just once you select it, you can send me a test message. There you go. We're good. And just as a note also, Sandy, I may need affinity diagramming boxes in the other sections since they seem to help people if they aren't there already. Okay, if you are typing on a digital card, go ahead and wrap up your thought. And go ahead and deselect. I'm going to do a little bit of maintenance. Please hold. Put this right over here. And we'll select this one. Please make sure you deselect your card. Otherwise, I won't be able to select it for the next round. Oh, we got one more. It's still trying. There you go. Got it. Okay. 1 second. Okay, so these are all the problems that everyone listed. What we're going to do is something called affinity diagramming. If you're not familiar with it, this is how it works. We're going to look at the cards, kind of scan them, and basically, if there are 2 or 3 that seem to work, kind of be in the same kind of category, you're going to want to take the card and put it under an available gold kind of category card here. And I'm just doing this for example. These aren't related, but this is just to show you how the kind of process works. So if these 2 were basically related, you would double click up here on the group name and give it a title or a group of some type where it would associate itself with these 2 cards. And you're going to do this for all 30 cards you see below. There is no time box for this. It's just going to be where everyone kind of lands in terms of where they put things. So go ahead and start categorizing and putting cards where you think they should go. If towards the end you find there are cards that don't have a home, then you can go ahead and keep those in just in the little blue box down here. And at the end of this, we will we'll go and just scrutinize the cards for see if there are any duplicates and go from there. And again, I'll emphasize there is no right or wrong answer with this. This is just to make sure that we're framing our understanding of all the problems that people have submitted in a proper way. One technical note, if you see that your stack is starting to get 10 cards or more long, there could be the possibility that the category you've chosen is too broad and you need to kind of take a few cards out of that stack and kind of make a subcategory in another column. That's only if you're getting around like say 10 or 11. Thank you for doing that, Sandy.
Yeah, I was going to copy the newer template version there. I think the one that is in there is actually an older version.
Okay.
I can't really do it.
Did you change this card to orange? I just did a food pot.
It was me, Robert, just to show the redundancy.
Okay, yeah, we're going to get to that in a second.
Okay, sorry.
Your heart was in the right place. Okay, so this looks pretty set. Now, the last part of this is to basically take a look at the cards and into column. What you want to do is look at the cards and see if there are 1 or 2 or 3 of them that are very closely worded that mean the same thing. If you do notice them, just go ahead and click both of them and give them a different color of any type, just so that we can take a look at them really fast to see if there is a similarity and if one of them need to be eliminated. Otherwise, we'll point it out as kind of like something to watch out for when we go to voting. Okay, so it looks like there's one. Where's the other one? The map that you were looking at. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, so the redundancy ones are over there in terms of the being like a copy of one. Now over here on the very far right, I see something say group name, but I don't see anything that goes into a category for these two. Can anybody clarify what this one should be? No? Okay. And they're just going to live together in the same space. Right. So, okay, we got a little bit of movement.
Yeah, shouldn't they just go into teachers?
For now. Yeah. We do this,
Into the teacher category.
There's enough room in there, I think, for now to kind of space them. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go into a voting round. And what you're going to do is take a look at the gray cards only and vote on the problem that you think is the most important to address. since it looks like there's about 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 33, and we have about 15 people. So probably we're looking at about, I'd say, let's do 4 votes each in terms of like all these cards. Vote on the top 4 that you see here. I'm gonna start a voting round in here. And the one is, which problems are the most important to address? Will be the question that you're going to be doing. 4 votes this time. And for Suzanne, why don't you go ahead and tell me which 4 votes you want to do? I'll zoom in on the cards so you can see them. You want to click on a card to vote on them, shift click to unvote. And then basically if you want to, well, yeah, shift click down vote, and no one will be able to see your cursor in terms of what you are voting for. And when all votes are in, or the people that are active will vote, then we'll see what the results are. And Suzanne may be getting a different laptop, but I'll see if she comes back in time. Susan, oh, wait a minute. Suzanne, I don't see which column that's under. Can you tell me which column it is? Got it. Okay. All right, we're good. Everyone was waiting on me. That's a first. All right, let's end voting session. See what everyone voted on. And it looks like the one that had the most votes, as well as the most unique voters, was design thinking workshops are usually not accessible for many children. The one that was close was current education is based on best grades approach rather than promoting collaboration. And then the line kind of fell from there. I think to move forward with this LDJ, we're going to use the design thinking workshops that are usually not accessible for many children and kind of work from there. So give me 30 seconds while I do a little bit of logistics. And over here. Okay. So I'm going to bring everyone's attention over to the lower left, and we're going to be looking at the section called Reframe as Challenge. Now, this particular challenge or this particular exercise involves using a phrase called "How might we?" And "How might we" is a way of looking at problems without jumping to conclusions or jumping to solutions right away. It's a speculative way of framing a problem in terms of its possibilities. So I'll try to make an example of this one. Our top problem is design thinking workshops are usually not accessible for many children. So how might we, that's not very specific, but kind of addresses the main issue is, and it's kind of simple, is how might we create accessible workshops for children? And another how might we, if we wanted to go in a different dimension, could be, and I'll use HMW here, how might we discuss or how might we explore the benefits of design thinking with educators is another. So they're basically generalized statements that don't necessarily jump to conclusions, but lead you down a path of possibilities. Like if the answers to that question of how might we might lead you to different places. So go ahead and double click on a how might we card that's listed here and think of like a question that would, exploratory question that would address this particular problem in terms of what you could do. We'll give 2 minutes for this, and we'll do a round of affinity diagramming after we're done. And again, try to keep all of your how might we's in the first 3 lines or so, just for the sake of sorting later on. I don't have to kind of delete a whole bunch of different blank ones. It's funny, Suzanne, this is kind of like I'm your bot. You're doing it through another interface. If you're still working on your digital card, go ahead and finish up your thought, and then click anywhere in the white space to deselect it. Okay. Let's change it down. So the guys see what you're doing. Gisela, what are you doing? Stop that. Okay, so we have a whole bunch of how might we's. I'm going to take these and bring them down below into the affinity diagramming section here. Why don't you go ahead and do the same exact thing we did in the previous exercise. Go ahead and start sorting out by group name. Put particular cards in places where you want them to go, and give the group a name so that you're kind of categorizing all the different how might we's. At some point when we get all our categorization done, we'll start to scrutinize them for duplicates to make sure that we're aware of ones that are very similarly worded. So material and resources looks like it's going a little bit long in the tooth. You might want to consider like breaking this one up just a little bit and getting to a getting to something that may be a little bit where it's like this may divide into two subgroups, maybe material as one, resources as another. But I would recommend kind of if it looks right where you want to force it, then leave it. But you're getting at that threshold where you're right around 10, where you could potentially go in a different direction with it. Okay, I'll give about a minute more. Do you have any more like, by the way, real quick, if you look at the share or the Zoom share, one of the things you can do to kind of line things up really well with any of these cards is you can highlight all of them, and basically the contextual menu that comes up here, look for the arrange icon that's down here. Just click on it and then choose into a column, and Mural will automatically line up all the cards with spacing and everything. It's a nice way of doing it. Okay, real quick, let's look at the cards to see if there's any duplicates, any particular ones that seem like they're very closely worded. If you do see them, just kind of color them, and we'll take a look and see how closely related they are, if they need to be, one of them need to be eliminated, or just so that we're aware during voting. So we get a couple. It's like in the same column, it's like how many involve teach benefit the kids. Yeah, that's pretty close. I think the one on the top is a little bit more general than the one at the bottom. Yeah, toolkit and game. Okay, I don't think they need to be eliminated, but just people are aware that they're similar. Adopt DT process to school for a day. Unless somebody feels strongly that one of them should be eliminated, they're yeah. I think, well, let's put it this way. If I were to opt for something, I think probably the lower pink here would be the one you want to go after between the two of them. Between the orange ones, this one is a bit more general, probably could put more solutions to it. This one, the DT toolkit, is a bit exacting, whereas solutions may be a little bit harder to kind of go by. And there's 6 blues. Well, we're all thinking it's good. We're all thinking the same thing. Oy, oy, oy. I'm wondering if all 6 of these are related. Covered in traditional workshop. I think they're okay. So they're variations on a theme, but I don't think I don't see one that's. I see about process. Yeah, I'm gonna leave those be. So they're variations on a theme, but they're not too. There's not one that kind of overrides them all, like they were that we're just comparing two. So if you look at all these, we're gonna vote on these again, just like we did last time. I think we're gonna bump the vote up to, let's see, 5. Well, hang on, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Yeah, I'll keep it with 4 votes like we did last time. And what you're going to be doing is voting on the how might we's that are the most, so we say, how might we's have the most compelling, which how might we's are the most interesting would be a better way of doing it for you personally. If you were to take a look at those cards and say, like, I'd like to explore those particular ones as solutions. We'll give everyone 4 votes. Go ahead and pick your top 4. Click on a card to vote on it. Shift click to remove it. Nobody's going to see what you're voting on with your arrows. And Suzanne, you can use me as a conduit to put your votes in, and I will log those for you. And again, Suzanne, when you tell me which cards you want, be sure to tell me the category that it belongs under, whether it's educate parents, communication, training, teachers. That way I can find it pretty fast.
For the doublets, it's the one with the black frame that we're
Correct. You want to choose the one the black frame if you're choosing between the 2. The blue, they're in the same vein, but you can choose any one of those. It should be fine.
Thanks.
Okay. We're just about done. Okay. We're just waiting for a squid, and squid got done really fast. Oh, Fatima, there you go. Got it. Okay, let's see how the voting kind of ended up. And it looks like we have one that had the most votes and the most unique votes, which is how might we create a game for kids that teaches design thinking and formats. And there were a bunch of ones that had 4 votes and 4 unique votes. So we're going to go ahead and ride this one and the how might we over here and bring that into the next stage, excuse me. So hang on one second and bring it over. Okay, so let me summon everyone over. So right now where we are is that we have a top problem that states there's design thinking workshops are usually not accessible for many children in relation to our topic about next generation innovation. So the how might we landed on as a group is how might we create a game for kids that teaches design thinking and formats. So what you're going to do with this how might we is you're going to go down here in the ideation section and double click on a solution card and put something that kind of answers this how might we question. Now, you want to go after quantity, not quality. Don't worry so much about the solution in terms of how detailed it is. But you want to get into the quantity of what comes to mind. Think practical, think silly, think outrageous, think bold, think something that you don't have any idea if it can be achieved with technology today or even process, but put it out there as a possibility that you think would be really intriguing or interesting to do, which is the whole point of doing the design sprint in the first place, is to explore some interesting ideas. We'll take 2 minutes, start at the top and work your way down from the bottom in terms of your ideas. And again, go after quantity, not quality. You don't have to worry about being right. Nobody's going to judge you. You do want to be able to put in what comes to mind so that other people can consider it as well. And one thing I'll say is that while this particular How Might We does involve create a game, you could potentially say, okay, well, if we're creating something for kids that teaches design thinking in formats, maybe you have a variation of what that game, what it means by game. It could be a process, it could be a methodology, it could be an approach, it could be whatever you think. But again, let your imagination fly and just see where it kind of comes. And Suzanne, for this one, all you have to do is just type in some of your thoughts in the chat and I'll put them in cards. If you're working on a card, go ahead and finish it up. If you need more time, just go ahead and say so. Okay, please finish up your digital card. We'll move on to another round of affinity diagramming. But you gotta finish up your cards. Right, very good. So we'll go ahead and bring those cards, excuse me, oops, I deselected accidentally. We'll take these, bring them down here. And go ahead and, like before, the last two exercises, go at it with the affinity diagramming, put them under different groups so you can kind of categorize things. And then we will see where all the cards land. And Sandy, for reference, this time around, since we had a lot of people, I actually suppressed the vote as well as the time that we were taking to kind of get ideas. Partly for time constraints or time management, but just to see if the quality of what we were producing was going to be about the same if we had gone 4 or 5 minutes in some of these. Just for reference, because I know we had done it slightly different last week.
What is a move mode?
I'm sorry, Fatima, what was that?
What is a move mode? When I try to do something, it is say you are in the move mode. Move mode. You have a hand, you cannot click.
It's
In
the Zoom setting.
In the bottom right, there's a hand icon. You've probably selected that without realizing it.
Oh, you're right. Yep. It's in the lower right here in move mode. You just basically have to click on that again. And
I
you
saw
can
it
select it.
before, but it's not here anymore, so I don't find it.
In the lower right-hand side. Take a look at the zoom at my particular window, Fatima, in the Zoom share. And I'm pointing at the window down at the lower right. You don't see this?
I'm sorry?
If you go to the Zoom share, like basically if you go to Zoom, and I'm sharing my screen right now,
Yeah.
you should see something down here in the lower right-hand side that allows.
Yes.
So what you probably clicked on was this that says Move Mode. When you click on that, it gives you a little bit of an indicator. You just have to basically unclick it to get rid of it. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I don't see. I saw it before, but it's not here anymore. But it's okay. I just look. It's okay.
Okay, you can try refreshing the page too. By just basically going up into the URL and just hitting enter after it's selected, and that may refresh your interface to the point where you can see that in it, that particular like little interactive menu again.
Ah, yes. Yeah, I see it.
Okay,
It's
good.
okay.
All right, so it looks like we're kind of getting close to everything kind of being put on in their particular categories. Now, same as last time, just go ahead and take a look at the cards. See if you see a couple that are very similarly worded or close in nature. And go ahead and just give them a color. And we can all kind of take a look at them. Now all I'm doing is just selecting and moving them into rows. Oops. Anyone underneath there? There it is. Yep, you're right. So create a board game with DT challenges is probably the one we should keep, and we'll eliminate the other one. That's definitely redundant. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, I think we're in a good place. We'll do another round of voting this time. We'll keep the votes at 4 like we did last time. So we seem to be pretty good with that. Again, you're going to be just voting on the solutions themselves, with like which are the ones, the particular solutions that you find the most intriguing. So which solutions do you find the most intriguing? 4 votes. Give it a shot. You vote on any gray card that you see. You can shift click and remove a vote if you'd like. No one's going to see your cursor, and just go at it. Suzanne, use me as a conduit again, and just let me know what votes you want to put on there. Tell me the category as well as the card that's underneath the category. Suzanne, for this one, I have one vote left for you, but I'm not sure if I put it in the second one you put in there. It was the same one as the third that you had listed. It's a different one. I just need the category it's under because I'm not seeing it. Oh, this one, I think. Yep. Got it. Okay, now I understood what you were saying before. Okay, so it looks like we are all set with voting. And I'll go ahead and end it, see where everything landed. And it's interesting because we have one that had 5 votes and 5 unique votes. And we have one that was 4 votes for the TikTok challenge and with 3 unique votes and a bunch of ones that were 3 and 3. So we already know what the first 2 are, but we're going to do a different exercise we haven't done before to kind of vet out those 4. It's kind of a fun one. So let me get out of the voting session. Okay. So we definitely have, and you'll excuse me just for a second while I do a little bit of maneuvering here. There we go. Now let's see, let's take our 3s, 1 here, 1 here, 1, oops, try this again, 1 here, 1 here. Do these 4. We're going to bring them down to this area here, bring them into a row. Okay, so if everyone could kind of gather around where I am at down below where we were working, this is a scale, a potential scale, where we're going to be looking at each of these 4 to see which one of these has the most potential. The way this works is I'm going to put a card right in the center of the potential slide. And you're going to tell me with your mouse cursor, just kind of moving in a circle around the line where you think this one should land on the band in terms of this being high potential versus low potential. Be anywhere on this band, but you just have to basically use your mouse cursor and let me know where this goes. So we'll go through all 4. We'll do use interactive game for teacher and student. Where do you think this falls in the potential stream, high or low? And it looks like most people, wow, there's a lot of them. Even though Ram really likes it, I think the majority is kind of situating right around there. Next one, gather problems relevant for children and show how to solve them with design thinking. Where does this sit in the, all right, there's one over there. That was quick, good. And then we go over here, create a digital game that incorporates DT principles and methods. Where should this fall? Got a couple of people down here are not really enthused about it, but there's a majority around here. So somewhere around here seems to be about right. Then finally, make a game for parents and their children to identify problems in the home. Which does this fall in relation to all of these cards that we just put down there? Got 3 people over here, 3 people here, 2 here, 1 here. It's kind of somewhat here, somewhere around there. But it's clear to me that it looks like gather problems relevant for children, show how to solve them with DT is the one that we want to kind of move forward with. And you can stop circling your mouse cursor. I know you're having fun with it, but we're all set with the exercise. But thank you very much for it. We're going to wrap up our final 5 minutes with this particular exercise over here in the right. Just give me a minute to kind of get everything situated, and we'll wrap things up. Okay, so I'll gather everyone one more time. So what we're looking at now, go for it.
So I don't know what is TikTok challenge, sorry.
I will explain it in just a second. So where we are right now is that we have our problem, we had the how might we, and now we have 3 potential solutions, one of which was, and they're ordered in terms of interest from left to right. So create a board game with design thinking challenges, derive a challenge on TikTok, and gather problems relevant to children and show how to solve them with DT. Now, if you look on the Zoom chat or the Zoom share that I'm doing, I'm going to open up a new browser window and go into TikTok. So TikTok is basically a social platform that people use to put videos and mix them in with different stuff they put in. So people can make 15-second videos, 60-second videos, but it's all on mobile. So people have different ways of different things that they do, and they span all over. So some things are related to food, others are about people. Some of them are sports clips, but they basically have all sorts of different ones that people put in there, but they're all small little videos that put in. It is a platform that's gaining in popularity, and right now it's got huge growth. It captures a demographic that's central to this particular problem, which is like the more or less the teen and tween area. So it really resonates with high schoolers and college students as well. So there's a lot of different things that are here that kind of capture what people are interested in. So that's what it is. It's basically a platform, another social media platform that has the potential to be the next Instagram, but it's being talked about by people in marketing that are kind of ahead of the curve, so to speak. And the numbers don't lie. There's over 800 million active international users across all over. But yeah, if you ever want to do a little, you want something that just takes up your time, like a lot of time, you just go to TikTok and you'll see a lot of different stuff. So that's what TikTok is to create a challenge in there. What we're going to do with this particular exercise to wrap things up is there is an impact interest matrix here, and I'm going to kind of go over it really fast before we put anything in it. So the way this works is it's based on the Eisenhower matrix, where on the x-axis is interest. So you want to look at this as like your own personal interest for the solutions that we had up here. You have a high interest if you're more to the right. You have a low interest if it's more to the left. On the y-axis is impact. For all the solutions that we kind of voted on, which ones have the most impact or the least impact. And based on your interest and the interest you have and the impact you think it will have, you'll be placing circular dots with your names on them aligned with the solution. So I'll give an example. Let's say that these dots up here are me. So I'm going to put in Robert. I'm going to take the first one, which is create a board game with design thinking challenges. I'm going to place it right in the center here. So when I think of that solution, what's my interest for that? And create a board game with I'm all about gamification. So I'm going to say I'm right about here. Then how much impact do I think it's going to have in relation to the problem? So read the problem out, say design thinking workshops are usually not accessible for many children. How might we create a game for kids that teaches design thinking, and then create a board game with design thinking challenges? Fairly straightforward. I think it's got potential, so I think we could probably do it. And I would probably sign up for it if it was there. And you're going to do this for all three of these: the TikTok challenge, the gather problems. Just basically put your names on the three dots over here. So you'll basically put your name in gold, and you want to put your name in gray, and just drag those dots to the center and find out where they land in all four of these. Now, don't feel pressured to feel like you have to put things in the upper right-hand quadrant. If you think something sucks and you don't want it to do it, and you think it doesn't have any merit at all, that's totally fine. There's no judgment here. You basically put them in the column here where you don't want to do it. Or if you think that's not really interesting, but you think the impact is good, you can put it in the upper left here. Or if you're very interesting, but you're not sure where it could fall, then you probably want to put it in the lower right. And again, no judgment on this. All you have to do is just basically put a dot where you think it is. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and create some for Susanna, and she can tell me in chat where she wants to put her dots. And then we should be good to go. I'm going to open up back chat and see where it should be. I don't have anything for Suzanne yet, but I will say it looks like the funny thing is that when you look at the dots and everyone voting, I tend to look at first the number of dots that they're kind of being this upper right-hand side, and what seems to edge out, but more or less, they kind of seem to be fairly aligned, though there's really high interest in the TikTok, but then there's also like forget about it interest in TikTok, so it kind of balances itself out a bit. Let's see, right there. Okay. I'll get the last one from Suzanne, and we'll. Yeah. Okay.
The names are getting out of the matrix.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. There you go. Okay, so before we break, I do want to do one thing. As traditional now with these Zoom chats, is I'm going to bring up all participants. Hang on. Let me go ahead and span this out. I'm going to stop my share on my side. And what I'd like everyone to do we do as traditional. We've been doing a traditional meeting like for the past week. I'd like to do a group shot of everyone that participated today so that we have at least capture that we've done it. Go ahead and grab something that's nearby, some item. I'm going to go grab a stuffed dolphin, so I'll be right back. I'm going to leave the camera. Go ahead and grab something that's within reach and bring it into the camera. Oi. So we can document that we were all kind of doing this. Right. I'll put him right there. There you go. It's a dolphin. And Alex, where'd you go? Oh, there you go. Got it. Okay. Come on, Naya. There's got to be something. Hey, that'll work. Hey, that works. It's colorful. All right, I'm checking everyone. Everyone got something? Hey, there you go, Sandy. All right, ready? Take one group shot. And 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Hopefully you thought it was a good session. I'm sorry we're right at time because I have another LDJ to do right after this. Hopefully you felt it was beneficial. If you do have any feedback at all, please leave it in the Slack or send me an email if you like, if it was something that they felt was really good. But thank you all for your time. Really appreciate it. The next step with this is I'm going to be taking what we did in the mural and kind of bringing that back into the challenges themselves, and what this is meant to do for all of you is to give you firsthand impressions of the potential of where this idea could go, so that when you go back to your groups and have a discussion on what challenges to adopt, you'll have a better idea and a better opinion about where things go with it. So that was the whole intent of kind of bringing people in beyond kind of fleshing out the idea. Again, thank you very much, everyone, for participating this morning or evening or afternoon or wherever you are. And hope you have a good rest of the week, and maybe we'll see you again another LDJ later on. Okay?
And what's the next LDJ?
It's coming up right now, actually. I have to get in there before people start screaming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, group wave, everybody. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Very much
Bye.
appreciate it. Bye.
Bye.